my channel. Today's video I'm finally going to be playing the first ever game of TBR Clue here on my channel. I am super excited and also very nervous. Now I am filming this intro after already playing the game, so I know how crazy it's gonna go, and buckle up. Now, if you would like to see me actually create and make the game itself, I will leave a link in the description below for you to check out the videos, or video here on my channel of when I made the board a couple months ago and all of the game components that went along of making this TBR Clue. Now, I will give you guys a heads up that this game does get a little wild, and as well, I decided not to include my little bonus weapons this game. Being the very first game, I started off wanting to have a simple, easy go of it for the very first play, and it didn't quite go that way, but I also had a couple that were still in the works needing to be messed with, so hopefully you guys will see them in the next game next month. Actually, I can go ahead and tell you next month's game isn't happening. This video is coming out late, so there will not be an April TBR Clue game, just because I was in a car accident earlier in the month, so it kind of threw off everything and having to recover from that. So, but we will discuss that on a later date, and, but yeah, so hopefully the bonus weapons will be playable. They will be on the board for the next play of TBR Clue, which will be May. Yes, it will be in the May Clue game, so I hope you guys kind of give you guys something to look forward to, and I'm very excited to actually put those bonus weapons into play, and it's going to get crazy. This game is, so it's been fun. So without further ado, here is the first play of TBR Clue. Hope you guys like it. So this is going to be the first play of my TBR Clue game. I am super nervous but very excited at the same time. Let's just do this. Okay. So I'm going to roll my 9-sided die first and find out which room to be playing. We will be playing from. Alright, I see 1. Okay, so we have 1, which is horror. Over here with old Joe Bush. Okay, so I'm going to roll 2 6-sided die, and we're going to find out how many spaces I'm going to move. 1 and 6. I just tried to flip that by accident. So I can either move 1 space or 6 spaces, or I can move 7 spaces as the total of the dice. Let's see. So where I have 5 books placed in this room. So many options. Okay. Let's see, should I go for, I think I'm gonna go for 6? It's either gonna be 6 or 7. There's only like 1 space difference, so we'll see. I think I'm gonna go for this book. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, or no, I'm gonna go for this one. 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 3rd try I went for this one. I kept pointing at the wrong book. Okay. And I believe that is 10. Yes, 10. And it's supposed to be in the horror genre, and it has to be a book with multiple points of view. Ooh, that'll be interesting. Okay. The first game ever of TBR Clue was very brutal on me. It was not easy. And I ended up with some very difficult rolls. yeah, so I actually had to get the game board out and set it up twice for this video, and I will get into that in a minute. So for the first time, I decided I was going to roll 4 times and just have 4 books to start off slow and simple at playing the game and kind of ease myself into it, you know, and because I just didn't want to go overboard for the first game and overdo it. It got crazy though. So for the first roll, I got very lucky and I ended up in the horror room, and I so I got prompt 10, which is a horror book with multiple points of view. So I actually had a few options to choose from for this, which was kind of odd. So it was like the first roll, and I knew it was too easy. I knew it was. And it was a book I had already planned on reading anyways this month, so it really worked out. I ended up reading The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, and I say ended up reading because I've already read the book now at the point of filming this. It is March 8th when I'm filming this, and I have already read this book. I read it in literally a day and a half, and it was super good. I read the first day, the first sitting I had it, I read 105 pages, and it is, I think, like 326, something around there. Yeah, it's 326 pages long. I read 105 in the first sitting of reading it, and then the next day I literally finished it. So it was super good, and I'm not surprised, honestly. This is my 3rd book reading by Simone St. James. She's turned into one of my favorite authors, and I basically want to read all of her books now. I've already read The Sundown Motel, which I highly recommend, and the Book of Cold Cases, and now The Broken Girls, and I was super happy with this read. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, and it was super good, especially for the first book to end up reading from my first TBR Clue game. And so that ended up being a little too easy and it quickly went downhill from there. That one is officially off the board, and yeah, time to roll again. Ooh, okay, 5 and 2. Oh, and I didn't... I'm already messing this up. Okay. So 5. Room 5 is romance. Ooh, I don't really have many romance. Okay. So I have to move either 5 or 2 or 7 spaces in romance. Now I didn't put very many options or very many books in the romance room. I have 3 choices to go to, so I have to move at least 5 spaces to get to any of these books. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for this outer one. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Book 4. Let's see, what prompt is 4? Oh no. So book 4 is a prompt with a book with 400 or more pages. Oh no, and it has to be in romance. This is when it started getting tough on me. So the next time I ended up with romance, and I ended up with prompt 4, which is for a romance book with 400 pages or more. So I recently bought this one, Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I have not read this one yet. This is definitely one of the newer books on my shelves, and it's been going around, and I haven't really heard much about it, but I knew that this was going around and that people were really liking it and really enjoying it, and I saw it at Barnes & Noble, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna buy it and see what the hubbub is all about. And it is a thick book, as you can tell. And of course, it had to be 400 pages or more, so I already knew it was going to be a big book that I had to read. And so that was a little scary, but I was like, okay, just one big book won't hurt me. It's been a while since I've read a really long one. And yeah, I think this one is actually over 500 pages. Yeah, it's 583 pages. I have not read it yet. Yeah, so that was when the game started taking it rough on me. I still have this to read this month, and okay, so that's another book off the board. Okay, we're gonna do this another one or two more times. I haven't decided yet, but considering I just got a long book out of the deals, yeah, so let's just 8. Let's see, room 8 is adventure. Okay, and I did put 3 books in this room as well, and my character is in the exact corner. Let's roll our dice and find out how many spaces. Okay, 2 and 6. Okay, so I can move 6, 2, or 8 spaces. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go a roundabout way to get to this book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whew. Oh, I just knocked my character over. And my book is falling apart. I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay, but this is book 3. What were the chances of getting books 3 and 4 in the same game? Book 3 was prompt a book with a number in the title, and that was in the adventure room. This should be interesting. Okay, so next was actually in the adventure room, and I ended up with another prompt, and it was an adventure book with a number in the title. Now, what I failed to realize is when I put the adventure room on the game board, I was like, okay, I can order books as I go if I need to. I don't actually have many adventure books, but what I realized is it's actually hard to find books that are labeled as adventure. And I should have probably realized that sooner, but in my head I was thinking, okay, books that involve like road trips or travel, you know, stuff like that, and like long journeys and, you know, adventures. So I was like, you know, and I love that kind of genre of like movies and such, but I guess when it translates to books it's really hard to find, and I guess most of them are actually end up being like middle-aged or kids. I was like, why is it hard to find like adult adventure books? And you know, so I ended up not having any with a number in the title. And not only that, I searched on the internet too and couldn't find any. So I ended up having to scratch that one out, and I knew I was going to have to get the board back out and re-roll. But at the time, I was going to actually try and find it. So nothing really too crazy has happened to this game except for having a really long book. So I think I'm going to do one more roll and see where we end up. Now this means I have an even bigger risk of having to do a re-roll and adding an extra book. So, but right now I only have 3 books on my TBR for this month. So let's see. Oh, yep. Have to roll this dice first. I really am forgetful about that. Okay, 5. Oh no, that's romance again. Okay. Okay. I can do this. Okay, I can do this. I've got this. Okay. Okay. 5 and 1. Oof. And there's like no secret passageways in that room either or anything. Has to be romance. And I'm not really close to a good room either. Oh, but I did place my character close to a doorway. So if I went... No, I still wouldn't make it into nostalgia. Ooh, I'm close to true crime. But I don't really have much true crime either, so... Ooh. Okay. I think I'll take my chances with romance. There's 2 choices. Let's see where I go. Okay, so clearly I have to go 5 or 6 spaces. I think I can do it in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is book, if it'll focus. That's book 19. Okay, so prompt 19 is a book I have owned for over a year and haven't read. And that has to be in the romance genre, which is really hard because I don't have much romance at all. Ooh, this should be interesting. Okay. So that will be my 4 books for my TBR. So for my 4th roll, I ended up in the romance room again. And I don't own much romance, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be tough. Because right now I'm trying to expand my library and get more romance and fantasy and all this of the genres I don't have. So I was planning on it, and that's why I put them on the board. And you know, I wanted to expand. And I want to get into other genres because I'm mostly into mystery, horror, and thriller. And so I really made it hard on myself. And I should have expected that being the first game. I should have expected it to be difficult, but not this difficult. And yeah, so for this one I ended up with a romance book that I had to have owned for over a year that I hadn't read yet. And it was actually a pretty easy pick because I had been meaning to read this one. It's Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kimmerer. I hope I'm saying that right. And I started this one today actually. I'm about 14 chapters. I'm already 100 pages into it. Super good so far. I've already nearly cried. So it's gonna be kind of a sad one, I think. But yeah, so far it's really good, and I can't wait to continue reading it. And yeah, I think that ended up being a good one. And I'd been wanting to read it for a while, but it is also a longer book. So I think it borders 400 pages. Or it was really close. It's 391 pages long. And so that, and then Haunting Adeline in the same month. What were the chances? They're both big books, and I was like, man, it's been a while since I've read a long one. I can handle one. And then I was like, oh, I ended up with 2 big books in the first game. And then I was like, oh, I only have 4 books I have to read for this game. I can handle it, no big deal. And then I realized I had to re-roll because I couldn't find an adventure book. And when I re-roll, the punishment is I have to add another book, which means I have to roll again. I have to add another book into the time period. Okay, so this moves on to when I had to pull the game board back out and basically play the game all over again. And I should have just added it on to the next game because I did this tonight and I had 0 luck. It was bad. Okay, so this is when it got really wild. Okay, so because one of my rolls I didn't have a book for, I have to re-roll and add an extra book to what I have to read this month. Which should be fun. Okay, so first I'm going to roll my 9-sided die to find out which room I will be playing from. 7. Ooh, so 7 is thriller, which will really work out in my favor because I have plenty of those. And now I will roll my 2 other die to find out how many spaces. Oh no, I just got doubles. 3 and 3. So that adds yet another roll and another book. Okay, getting a little out of hand, but okay. I've moved us over here to thriller. Okay, so I either have to move 3 spaces or 6. 3 would be really easy to get to this book. Or I can go a little bit harder and do 6 spaces and get to that one. I think I'm gonna go to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is book number 5. Ooh, okay. Book number 5 is a book part of a series, and it has to be a thriller. Okay, shouldn't be too hard, right? And I got it set up again, and I rolled to, so basically I was already gonna have to roll twice. One to make up the book that I basically didn't have, and the second one was the punishment roll to add the extra book. Okay, so basically I did those 2 rolls, and we'll start there. So the first roll ended up with me in a thriller, and it has to be a thriller that's part of a series. So I'm ordering the 3rd book of the Gravekeeper series by Darcy Coates, The Twisted Dead, and I've already read the first 2 and absolutely loved them. Darcy Coates is my favorite author. She's an amazing horror author. And it just so happened that one was also labeled in the thriller genre. So I'm ordering that one, and hopefully it'll be here this month, and it should be a quick read. Usually Darcy Coates books are fairly quick for me because they're really good and easy to read. I absolutely love them. And so far this series has been shorter books as well. It's been like around 200 to 300 pages range. So yeah, so I'm hoping it won't be that long of a book, but either way, it should be an easy read for me, and hopefully I can just crush it out, and hopefully it'll also be, I know it'll be a really good book as well. I've given most of her books 5 stars that I've read. And in fact, she wrote one of my most favorite books, From Below. Absolutely loved that book, and I gave that 5 stars, so yeah. So I'm going to read the 3rd, and I don't know if it's going to be the final of the series. It's her latest book. But yeah, so that one was, you know, kind of a simple pick. Okay, so hopefully this will be my last roll of the first game of TBR Clue. Yeah, this got a little out of hand for the first game. I was hoping to keep it simple. This is going to be, I believe, roll number 5. And I believe I actually have to roll again for my extra book because I didn't have the book to match the prompt. Oh, okay. Okay. 6 and 5. So I can either go 6 spaces, 5 spaces, or 11. And it says 8 on top. Room 8 is adventure. Okay, so I am worried because last time I went to the room adventure, got a prompt, didn't have a book to match, so that's what added another extra book to this. And I don't really have many adventure books, and I was willing to order one for the last one, but couldn't even find one for that. So now I'm a little nervous to go to that room. But we're gonna give it a try. We'll see. This room may just end up being my cursed room on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Book 27, if it would focus. There we go. Book 27. In adventure. 27 is a book by a popular author. And it has to be an adventure, so this might still be a little tricky, but we'll see. And then I ended up in the adventure room again with my punishment roll. And adventure is really hard. And so this one, I ended up with the prompt, I needed an adventure book by a popular author. Now, I found an adventure book that I have, that's in my newer books that I have. Popular popular author, but it counts. It's an adventure book. And Tuesday Mooney Talks to Ghost. And I've been wanting to read it. Thing is, as you can see, maybe not, it's another thicker book. And the font is really small as well. So, yeah. Oh no. Okay, so it is 357 pages long. So I've really made it hard on myself this game. That makes 3 long, thick books that I have to read this month. Luckily, I've already finished 1 book from the game, and I've already started 1 of the thicker books, and I think hopefully I'll be able to fly through it because it's been so easy to read. I'm already 100 pages in, and I'm really excited to finish the book. It's so far it's really good, and I think hopefully I'll fly through it. But yeah, this is really challenging me. Okay, so now I'm going to hopefully do my final roll that I will show you guys. Ooh, okay, that's a 9. Okay. Okay, so this one is going to end us in the room for nostalgia. And to make it easier to film, I'm going to move my fortune teller. And this room is in the nostalgia room, so that's staying. But let's see how many spaces. Okay, that is 6 and 6. Oh no, that means another reroll. Okay, this is out of control, but we'll see. Okay, so 6 or 12 for nostalgia. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Her tail got caught on it. Okay, so that would be 48. Be easy. 48 is a book with chapter names. So, and then next, I ended up with, I believe, doubles, and I think it was like 2 1s. So basically I had to add another extra roll to the game, so I had to re-roll again. What were the chances, right? So I had to re-roll, and I ended up in the nostalgia room. Now this one was an easy pick because originally I have some of the original Nancy Drew mystery books that I've never read before, and I own like the first 26 of them. I just bought the 26th one at a garage sale. But basically I bought 25 at a yard sale, the first 25 for like 10, 20 bucks for 25 of the Nancy Drew books, and each book goes for like $5 to $6 these days in store. So how wild is that? So I think I got a good bargain. And I've already read the first 5. So I'm just making my way through the series. I'm hoping to finish, I think there's 50 of them. So I'm hoping to finish them this year. I don't know if I will. But I have decided to, for the nostalgia roll, let me pull it out. For the nostalgia roll, I'm going to read the 6th book, which is The Secret of Redgate Farm. Now these are really easy and simple to read. I fly through them. It takes less than a day, and especially if I actually have time to just sit down and read and like non-stop, I can just fly through it. I can just fly through it because they're barely 200. They barely make it to 200 pages long each one, and they're just really simple. And so I was kind of relieved to be able to just choose this one because I needed to read it anyways, and it's shorter, so I kind of get some relief out of this one. Okay, now let's do hopefully our final roll for this game. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm already at 7 books for this game. I don't know if I can do that in a month, but we'll see. Especially because I've got a couple bigger ones. Okay. That would be room 1, which is horror. Yes, some relief. Okay, I've got plenty for horror. Okay. Okay, so that is our horror room with crazy barber killer old Joe Bush. Let's see how many spaces. Ooh, one went off the board. And it literally was a 1. Oh no, a reroll. I don't think I can do it this time. I'll have to add an extra 1 to the next game because I seriously cannot add any more to this round, to this month. I really can't. So I will make a note to add an extra 1 to the next round. I'm sorry. But I ended up with 2 1s, so I have to move either 1 space or 1. And that won't work, so I'm gonna have to reroll anyways. Are you serious? My luck. That is 2 5s. There's no way that just happened. Okay. What are the chances? Okay. Wow. Alright, so I get to move 5 spaces or 10. Wow. I am in disbelief. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop, I just took them off the board. That is book 43. Okay, so book 43 is a book with green on the cover, and it has to be a horror book, so shouldn't be too difficult. I am positive, in fact, that I have one around here. I've got plenty of horror books, so yeah. So basically I had rolled, and yeah, so basically I ended up having to do another reroll because I ended up with doubles again sometime throughout this process. And I ended up with, in the horror room, and I needed a horror book with green on the cover. Now that one ended up actually being difficult because I do have horror books, but most of them have blue. You'd be surprised how many horror books have blue on the cover. It would have been so easy. But no, it had to be green. So this one isn't actually labeled as a horror book. And this one wasn't actually labeled as an adventure book, but if you go to the title page, it says an adventure. So that's why I'm counting it as my adventure book. Now this one is actually considered like a thriller / suspense, The June Boys by Court Stevens. And but it sounds like it should be a horror. It's basically about a serial kidnapper. Yeah, it has to be considered horror, right? Well, I'm considering it. And as you can see, it's kind of another thick book. Yeah, it's 359 pages long. Yeah, I'm just gonna let that sink in. Yeah. Okay, so in the end, I ended up with needing to read 7 books this month. Now, I usually do good to read 5 to 6 books a month because of how much time I have to read. And I always feel really good just to, when I make it over 5 books, I'm like, oh, I made so many, I've read so many and I made so much progress. But 7 books is going to be really pushing it, especially because I had to wait like a week or so into March before I even played the game. Really regretting that choice now. But I've been so busy. So, and 1 book isn't even in my possession yet. I'm going to have to order it. And hopefully it's slightly shorter because the rest of the series has been. But I'm really glad I've already read 1. And I have gotten 100 pages deep into another one. So all I can hope for is I fly through them and that they're really good reads. So I think Letters to the Lost, I'm predicting it's going to be a 5-star. I'm also predicting Tears to Shed. I've already nearly cried once, but I don't know if it's because today I was just ready to cry or if it's because it's going to be a sad book. But it's dealing with grief and everything else, so I think it's going to be a sad one by the end of it. I don't think there's any avoiding that. So yeah. And that is all for this month's TBR Clue game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was so much fun. Very wild. I wasn't expecting any of that to happen for the very first game. That was a little out of control. But I am also really looking forward to the next game, and I can tell you guys there is a March wrap-up video coming out right after this one, so feel free to go check that out next to see how I did reading all 7 of the books from the first game. So yeah, 7 books in 1 month, and I can tell you I was successful in reading all 7, so I can't wait for you guys to see the wrap up, and thank you guys for joining me on this journey. So I hope you guys have a great day, great week, great month, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Have a simple, easy go of it for the very first play, and it didn't quite go that way, but I definitely didn't have the bonus weapons. Jules, shh. What are you doing? So I definitely did not have the bonus weapons in play for this game. I also